All right, welcome to the Sports Guys, another edition of our weekend recap. This is July 21st, 2025, a Monday after another great weekend of sports. How you doing, Robbie?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Any
Had a good
big thing?
week and fun weekend. Good stuff. Got to go fishing with the boys yesterday.
Yeah, that was fun. You guys
It was
caught a
fun.
bunch of fish.
Yeah, we did. We caught a lot.
Seems like they really like that sport and that activity with you.
Yeah, they enjoy it.
That's awesome. Any big sports things come out of the weekend or last week that you wanted to surface to the top here for
Yeah,
the
I mean,
viewers?
a lot of the things we're going to be talking about, the Open, the British Open, uh, is probably the biggest one, but
Hmm.
there are at least a handful of others that seem to be really kind of pushing the sports news forward in a slower sports period. So
Yeah, I
there's
think the All-Star game for baseball
yeah,
was really exciting.
Caitlyn
The home
Clark.
run derby, Cal
Yep.
Rowley, he's really become kind of a sensation this year. And
Yeah.
everyone just loves this guy.
And by the way, we called that.
We did. We did. Both of us picked him to win the
I
derby.
know that wasn't, way out on a limb or anything, but there were a lot of good sluggers in there, and
Well, he
he
barely
really
made it
is
through the
dominant
first
right
round.
now.
He made it through the first round by less than a foot in his
He
distance.
wasn't hitting the bombs, that
Mhm,
everyone else was, but he was just consistently hitting them out of the park, and that's kind of what
mhm.
he's just been doing all year.
Yeah. So that was great. And what's interesting is I find myself watching more regular season baseball this year than I have in probably 20 years.
Me too. I'm more
And
interested in it.
it's more interested. The pitching's better, I think. There's some really dominant pitchers this year,
There's a lot of
and
great hitters, a
a lot
lot
of
of
great
great
hitters.
players.
There really are.
It's like the full next generation has come up now, and they're all
Mhm.
veterans. They're all 2 to 3 to 4 years into their careers.
And it's not just great hitters. It's the Ellie De La Cruzes. It's the
Yeah,
those
athletes.
kind of guys. There's all these great athletes in the game now.
Yeah,
They
you
just
don't
feel
see
very
very
good.
many out of shape baseball players right now.
Hmm.
They all
That's right.
look fit.
Hmm. So there's a lot of great stories. I mean, just the Otani, his pitching comeback, and
Sure.
you have the Detroit Tigers just defying odds according to their salaries, and just a lot of great stories right now. We're going to talk about Caitlyn Clark tonight. She became the WNBA Player of the Year at the ESPYS.
Hmm.
We should also talk quickly about the Shane Gillis. What a hilarious monologue he did at the ESPYS and how that was received. So we should talk a little bit about that. And we're going to talk about Michael Mizrachi, who won the World Series of Poker. He was already a complete poker legend. For someone like that to make it through 14,000 players and to win the thing
Yeah.
in a really improbable comeback, he was down to two big blinds with 14 people left, so essentially dead, and found a way to come back and win the thing. So we'll talk some about that. Any other stories hitting you right now?
Well, honestly, I have a whole, I don't think you can see it, sheet full of things that have happened in the sports world from the NFL, the NBA, college football, golf, tennis, and the WNBA. But I think the biggest ones really this week were um, the uh, the Open in golf was huge. Caitlyn Clark getting hurt again, but also this big story of how they're positioning themselves to try and get a bigger payday. The players, the female, the WNBA players, and then some trades here and there and a few things. But I think that the biggest story this week is probably the Coldplay concert. That
Coldplay concert is definitely number one.
was the most
Scotty
viral.
Scotty Scheffler number two.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we'll get into that too. We're gonna have a
yep.
whole discussion on it. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got for this week. Let's take a moment just to hear from our sponsor, and that is Jersey Mike's. They're a longtime sponsor of the program. We're really happy to have them back. And I'll just say that I go there all the time. I go there probably twice a week now, and I love the number 13, the original Italian. I love the number 17. I know, Robbie, that's your favorite sandwich. Tell me
Yeah.
about your times at Jersey Mike's.
We were just in Myrtle Beach, and we had it multiple times and for dinner. So we just kept going back to Jersey Mike's. It was really awesome. I love the fresh food, great service. It's always a really fantastic meal. I'm always full. It's reasonably priced. I mean, I'd use the word cheap, but I mean, I might as well say cheap, but it's very affordable, great ingredients. They always get my sandwich right. And it's almost like a surprise every time how good it is.
It's
You know?
true. It's true. And what's nice when Rob and I are together, we split either the 13 or the 17. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like half a giant sandwich is perfect for both of us. So really works out really well.
Yeah, and then my family gets all kinds of other stuff, buffalo chicken and just so much. They have such good choices, fresh food. It's really good. It's a really good option.
So guys, go check out your local Jersey Mike's. Check out jerseymikes.com, where you can go to the Jersey Mike's app, or you can use Uber Eats, or you can use DoorDash or one of those services. But get yourself a sub tonight. All right, so we're calling this week Golf Dominance. And the reason is, of course, because of Mr. Scotty Scheffler, number one in the world. He's had one of the greatest 3-year runs of any golfer in history, probably the best since Tiger Woods for sure. He's just been completely dominant. We'll go over in a little bit some of his numbers from the last 3 seasons and what he's actually accomplished. But what are your thoughts about Scheffler, this win, how it just seems to cap off this incredible run? He was just so, after he took over in round 2, it just seemed like it was inevitable he's going to win this thing.
I think that it's so funny because he doesn't match his persona doesn't match the intensity that he brings with the seriousness with which he plays. Like, for instance, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, they all had this killer instinct. I think it was like they would run over their grandmother to get the win,
Right. He doesn't.
And Scheffler is saying, my family's first. And you rarely see people who prioritize their family above everything else be this much of a champion. And
he
so
doesn't want to do interviews, and
he's got this internal intensity that he can turn off when he needs to and focus on the most important thing in his life, his family.
Mm-hmm.
Most people cannot turn that on and off. It's like, you hear stories about Michael Jordan in hotel lobbies playing ping pong for $5 against Horace Grant, and Jordan beats Horace Grant, and he makes him go all the way up to his room to go get his $5 because that's his trophy. Michael Jordan was off work at that time. He had no reason to be intense.
Right. Well, you're exactly right. He didn't have the Kobe. He didn't have the Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He didn't have any of these guys. Like Tom Brady was completely obsessed with winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. And
he has something he can turn on right when he needs it. And he has that.
In the interview after this Open win, he basically said, "Look, I'm not out for records." They were asking him, "Are you Tiger Woods? Are you this generation's Tiger Woods?" And he said, "Look, Tiger Woods has 15 majors. I have 4." So he said, "It's a little early to be calling me Tiger Woods."
Yeah.
And he said, "Look, we're just different people. We're different players. We're in a different era." He said, "But I don't think anybody can touch Tiger Woods." He said, "I think he's the greatest ever, and I think he will continue to be the greatest ever." This is just what he was saying.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Look, I'm not chasing number of championships. I'm not chasing number of titles. I'm having a great time playing golf. I love what I do. I love my family. I love the other players." And they asked him, they said, "Are you the best player in the game right now?" And he said, "Look, I'm going to let the sports writers decide that. I'm not going to say if I am or not." Of course, he is ranked number 1. So
yeah, I think it's indisputable at the moment.
What's funny is that Bryson DeChambeau, who he was a huge rival of in college, used to whip him in college. Bryson DeChambeau was the better player in college. And he commented that he cannot believe how much better Scotty Scheffler is as a pro than he was in college.
Yeah.
And Bryson DeChambeau is looking for the limelight. He wants the notoriety. He's got a podcast. He wants all this stuff. He wants endorsements. He wants interviews. And Scheffler doesn't want any of that. He just wants to go home and be on his farm, And it's kind of refreshing to have a guy this good, this dominant, the best in the world at something, and he doesn't want the limelight.
Yeah.
It's kind
He's
of
doing it for the right reasons. He just loves
He's very different from all the guys you mentioned. All those.
It's pretty refreshing. Yeah.
It is.
I saw an interview with one of his competitors, and he said, "What's it like when Scheffler's winning a tournament, leading in a tournament?" And he said, "I'll be honest, I look up the leaderboard, and when Scotty Scheffler's there, it sucks because we know we're not, we
You're not
know we
going
can't get there.
to.
So, I mean, that's domination. When your
Yes.
competitors look up at the leaderboard, see your name, and go, "Oh, like we can't beat that guy."
I
That's
mean, people, hardcore golf fans have known about Scheffler for years, and they
yeah,
really have known about him these last 3 years. But for people on the world stage, it really took, I think, the Olympic gold medal last year in Paris.
yeah.
He really was on a lot of people's map there, especially non-golf fans. And he's just continued that into 2025. And I don't know how many majors he's going to get, but if he keeps playing like this, and now that he can putt, he didn't used to be able to putt.
It
Uh,
seems like when his family came along, he turned up to a higher gear of intensity, but he can turn it off.
mhm.
It's something like that. I don't.
And what
I'm
a
not
cute
sure.
moment with his son, where he brought his son
Yeah,
onto a green and he let him walk around and let him touch the cup. And
yeah.
I mean, he just totally endeared himself to the whole country.
Oh
He was
yeah.
letting his son
And
play with the cup, and
and his son was trying to run up a hill, and he fell down face first into the hill because Scheffler said that's the highest hill he's ever tried to climb.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
He's obviously just a cool little kid,
So now everyone's in love with this guy, and I mean, he doesn't want the notoriety, but he's going to get it. So
Yeah.
congratulations to him. He played fantastic. He did not lead after round one, and then he had that incredible round two where he went 7 under, and he had
Yeah.
a span where he had 6 out of 7 holes that were birdies, and pretty much the tournament was over at that point. Everyone knew it. When he's playing like that, no one's
He's
going to play.
29, so he's been around long enough to be
Right.
able to handle the spotlight. He's not going to
Yeah,
crumble under pressure. He's been
that's
there.
right.
But 29 is also young enough to um, bounce back from health issues, like be able to
Mhm,
get through your 4 rounds without being too sore and your back locking up and all. Like
mhm.
you're young enough to keep going and to really power through. So
Yeah.
he's
There's
in
some,
a
I mean,
perfect sweet spot of his career right now.
I will say, if you look at the leaderboards every week, there's more players that are really good right now in golf than I've ever seen before. I mean, the talent's really spread around, but he's clearly the best.
I don't know
But
about ever seen before, but I will
there
say
are a
it's a
lot of
special
great
time.
players.
It's a
Yeah.
special time in golf right now because without Tiger, you think golf's dying, and it's actually really coming back strong with
Mhm.
the whole next generation of guys.
I think so
And
too.
so that's really exciting. I kind of feel like baseball's in the same boat.
Yeah,
They have a
I do
very
too.
exciting group of young players who are now experienced. They've been
I
in the
do
league
too.
a few years, and the league is in a healthy place. It feels like golf and baseball are headed in the right directions.
Speaking of baseball, we got the All-Star game to talk about, and we have, of course, Cal Raleigh there on the left, who won the Home Run Derby for the American
Mhm.
League and for Seattle. And then on the right there, we have the guy who went into overtime, and they have a very interesting overtime rule in the All-Star
Yeah,
game, so they don't burn guys out.
they had a
And
hit off,
they had a swing off, they call it.
swing off.
And
Yeah.
this guy won the MVP because he won the game for the National League. So he kind of made a name for himself. A lot of people never heard of him before, but won this swing off for the National League. Pretty exciting
Yeah, it was
to
cool.
watch. So we'll get into that. We're going to get into, of course, the kiss cam controversy slash viral moment that
Mhm.
went around the world, and we're going to get into all angles of it, why it happened, why did this become so viral, why did this touch everyone's chord? It doesn't matter where they came from, how old they are, what area of society. Everyone seems interested in this story, and it just went crazy. And so we're going to get into that. Again, we talk about Michael Mizrachi and his incredible win, and we'll go over why this is so incredibly unlikely for anyone to do what he did in this incredible tournament every year. And then, of course, Caitlyn Clark, we're going to get into her and her WNBA Player of the Year honor that she got from the ESPYs, and then talk about what has been her impact on the WNBA. We'll get into all that as well. But let's start with that British Open. Let's look at the leaderboard. Of course, Scheffler wins by 4 strokes at -17. Behind him is English, Goddard, Fitzpatrick, who all of England was rooting for. He was their one entrant in the sweepstakes. He got to -11, just couldn't quite get to Scheffler. You got Lee, Clark, McIlroy, another guy who's a crowd favorite over there, just couldn't quite get there this tournament, although he did have a good Saturday and Sunday. Then you got Schauffele and McIntyre. So you had a pretty good leaderboard there of players, but Scheffler just put them away. And you
Tom,
can,
could you imagine hitting 17 under?
I know. At the British Open, which is really hard. It's links golf.
I
So
don't
it's
think
good.
people quite understand how hard that is.
I know. I know.
17 under.
Pretty cool that they put this up on the board at the end of the tournament. Well played, Scotty. See you at Birkdale next year, because Birkdale's where they're going to have it in England next year. So what is your thought about where does the Open stand on the list of tournaments? I mean, you and I agreed Masters is number one.
I mean, it's a great one. Obviously, they call it the Open and not the British Open. They call it the Open because this was in Ireland, and it kind of rotates around and
Yeah,
is in a hotbed of great golf areas, and so they are very. It's an amazing tournament.
I
It's an
love this
amazing.
picture, by the way, because it showed the joy right when he made the putt to win it. And he just
Yeah,
threw his hat up in the air.
yeah,
I love those pure joy moments. Like you can't
that's
script them,
right.
you know.
But
So
this is one of the best tournaments. Obviously,
we've
it's a
got
major, and it's so close to where golf was started, and it's just got a really classiness to it.
I've got the Masters number one. I've got US Open number two. I think it means the second most. And then I think this one's three. I think British Open's three. And then I'd put the PGA four.
Yeah, probably.
That's just my opinion how I'd rank them.
I think U.S. Open and the Open are pretty much the same to me.
Maybe, maybe.
Masters is top, and then those two are 2A and 2B.
I still think US Open's 1% ahead of the Open, but Open's pretty good. Here's an interesting photo I found. That was his drive at 18 as he was coming in with his four-stroke lead. He's got that incredible swing and backswing all the way through.
Yeah,
He's really tall too, much taller than a lot of his competitors.
and that helps a lot. It's kind of like Michael Phelps. It just gives you that little advantage.
And then this was the picture that endeared him to the entire
Yeah,
world. Like, how can anybody not love this guy and his love of family? And
right.
this little kid is so cute.
Yeah, and he's got his priorities straight, and that's why I think a lot of people are happy for him.
Yeah. He even had his binky in.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, hey, what do you think, bud?
He
British
has no
Open?
idea.
Yeah. He was just playing with it. So this is pretty cool. Let's just talk about what this guy's done in the last 3 years, okay? This is just the majors. So he won the Masters in 22. He won it in 24. He won the PGA this year, and then he won the Open this year. He's won 4 majors in 3 years.
Yeah,
And on top of that, he's won 12 total tournaments in 3 years,
yeah, he's
which
doing
is
amazing.
almost unheard of to win that many tournaments.
Yeah.
So where do you think this is going with him? I mean, he doesn't have that fire you talked about that MJ and others have, Tom Brady.
Well, I think what I would say is he has the fire that he can turn on and off. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Hmm.
The maniacal competitors can't turn it off.
Hmm.
And this guy is one of those unique people who seems to be able to. I
Hmm.
mean, you'd have to ask his wife what he's like at home. Does
Hmm.
he need to race his neighbor to the end of his street with his trash can? Like, you know, and beat him. You know what I mean? Like, is the competitiveness there? Like, he can't stop it,
Do you
or
think? Do
is
you
he a
think maybe?
marshmallow sitting on his couch with his kids loving it, and then
He might have the fire. He just doesn't show it. That's what I think. You got to be a competitor to win at this level. You have to.
yeah,
I
I
think he
think
really enjoys
he
doing it.
clearly has it, but can he turn it off?
Yeah.
A lot of the great ones couldn't turn it off.
So okay, Tiger's sitting at 15. Jack's at 16. How many do you think he might get to? What's your
Too
thought?
early to say. You can't predict whether Scheffler starts having back problems
Back problems,
or
hurts a knee or
problems
something.
at home, or maybe sick relatives that kind of distract him from training. Like, I don't know. There's just so many things that could happen, but he's in a really good place. He's in the sweet spot of his career. And if he can prolong this, he's got a real shot at getting up there. But
They talk about great athletes in their prime. He's a great athlete in his prime right now.
he's entering his prime. He's just
Yeah,
like just entering it, really.
that's right.
He's had 2 outstanding years, but like this is as good as it gets for him. He's just entering that perfect time in his athletic life.
They asked him in that press conference, what's the one tournament you haven't won yet? And he said, well, if you look at my resume, it's the U.S. Open. He's like, I got to win the U.S. Open. So there is something burning there when he says something like that.
Yeah.
There's something motivating him. He wants to
Well,
win the.
clearly he has goals, and when you have goals, you get a little bit driven. There's
Yeah.
no way you get to this level. The amount of drives you need to put out there on the driving range, and the amount of putting work, and the amount of, all the work that goes into putting your game together to make it like this,
Hmm.
is it's almost it's unspoken. You don't even have to know that the guy works so hard. Just look at him.
That's
Um,
right.
that's the only way you become a champion in golf, is just become maniacal about your swings.
I'm excited to see as we track his career where he is in 5 years, like how many majors he's racked up at
Yeah,
that point.
can he keep the trajectory going?
We'll see, because there's a lot of great players on tour.
Yeah.
Let's look at the All-Star game. Mr. Cal Raleigh, I think we both picked him to win the Home Run Derby. He did. He beat Junior Caminero. He barely made it through the first round, but did. And then just put on an absolute show in the finals. It was so fun to watch.
He just consistently was hitting him out, and he never went into like dry spells and stuff. He
He
just was
did decide
so
he
good.
did he did decide to go only from the left side in that final round. He
Yeah,
also
yeah.
he's also
When
the
he was
first
going back and
catcher.
forth, he looked kind of beatable. Hitting righty was tough because the left field porch is a little further out, so it was a little harder to get it out of the park. So he and his dad decided, with his brother catching behind him, that let's go solidly hitting from the left side of the plate, left-handed, and it worked great, because a lot of those hits barely made it out. So that was he was definitely crushing them consistently, but they didn't all. He wasn't hitting the longest bombs by any stretch,
It's true. It's true. Although that last round he really was starting to come into his own.
but he was the most consistent home run hitter. He just was hitting all of them out. So
He's also the first catcher to win this event, which is kind of cool.
yeah,
Usually you don't see a catcher be this big a home run hitter. 39
that's
at the
right.
break.
And it was so cool to watch his dad pitching to him, and his little brother catching behind him.
Yeah, that
And
was cool.
and and he was mic'd up, and you could hear the little brother talking to him,
Hmm.
like, "That was a good bomb," and,
Yeah,
"Let
that's
that
right.
one go," and, "That was a good take." Like, he didn't swing at every
What a
pitch, so
what a cool experience for that
yeah.
threesome out of that family to do it together. And then, of course, then they had to, after he won it, show the video of him. What was he, like 6 years old or eight
I
years
think it was,
old?
like, 5, yeah.
And he said, "I'm going to win the home run derby one day,"
Yeah,
as a
"One
little
day when I
boy.
grow up, I'm gonna win the home run derby," and you're
Yeah,
like, "Oh
and then
my
he
god,
does.
he just did." It's so sick.
Yeah. Is that
Yeah,
crazy or what? And then he wins $1 million by winning the contest. So
yeah.
pretty cool. He must have had a pretty
He's
good
having a
party.
year.
What do you think about his career trajectory? I mean, he comes from Florida State. He's in the third year of his career. He's just broken out into the open. Everyone knows who he is now.
Well, because he's so consistent, I have a lot of faith in that he's gonna have a good career. Can he prolong this? Probably.
And they say
Probably.
he's a really good defensive catcher. So I mean,
I th
he's a two
Yeah, I think he's
two
gonna
way
be
guy.
around for a long time if his health
Yeah.
holds up. Um, when you're a good hitter, pitchers start to pitch around you and give you junk, and they don't
Hmm.
mind putting you on base. So, if that starts happening, it's kind of already a little bit, because he's leading the league, in home runs, but,
And
I
he's a switch hitter, so you can't really pitch around him.
yeah, that's
So he
right, and
just go the other side of the field.
he's not
Yeah.
an intimidating bomber where he's gonna break a tape measure record on you, like the furthest home run ever hit or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
he's just so consistently putting him out of the park that it's really impressive.
Right. Yeah, that was a really, really cool moment. So let's
Yeah,
talk quickly about Kyle Schwarber, who's the Philly who actually won the game for the National League in the swing
mm,
off. This
that
game
was
was a
cool.
really tight contest, 7-6, really exciting. I really feel great about the MLB All Star game. I wish the other leagues would kind of follow their model. I know
I
the
don't really
NFL.
know how you could copy this if you're another sport, though. There's no question that baseball is the gold standard now. They have the best all-star break and all-star game and all-star activities. Like the home run derby, stuff like that is the best.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure how you copy that if you're football.
Well, the
You know,
NFL, they do the skills contest. It's kind of fun to watch where they throw balls
it's
through hoops and things
it's
like
really
that.
not that great though.
It's not great. And then
Not great.
hockey has the skills contest. They have the one-on-one face-offs, and they have the
Me personally, I think hockey's second best.
yeah, it's pretty good. It's
I
pretty.
can't watch the NBA All-Star game.
It's just unwatchable.
It's like
They completely
180
ruined
to
it.
170. It's
Yeah,
like
they've ruined it. You know what's
absurd.
actually the only exciting thing in the NBA All-Star Weekend is the
I mean,
emerging stars game, the
the,
rookies. They actually put on a
yeah,
pretty good game.
and sometimes the slam dunk contest, but
Yeah.
not always.
Slam dunk contest is pretty good. Matter of fact, they've tried to model this home run contest after the slam dunk contest
Yeah.
because it always was really great. So,
Well, the slam dunk used to be great when the stars were in it,
yeah,
and now with no stars in it, it's just not the same
yeah.
thing.
So
Basically, MLB is killing it with their All-Star game.
I have to tip my hat to baseball and how they've done this. Now, this particular All Star game was important because it was held in Atlanta. And of course, back about 4 years ago, the game had been postponed because Georgia passed a law which politically some people thought was restricting access to the ballot, which of course wasn't true. But they canceled that game 4 years ago. So it was really kind of a great moment for Atlanta, for Georgia to finally get past that controversy, have the All Star game in the Brave Stadium, and have this great show. So I just want to
Yeah,
mention
and just a lot of the good young players came through, and they were exciting, and they were doing. I've talked recently about how I love watching people do things in sports that I can't do,
no
and
doubt.
hitting a home run is one of those things. You know?
So this was a really fun All Star week, and I was
Yeah.
really proud of how they did it. This was another interesting thing. The game included a tribute to Hank Aaron for his 715th home run. Of course, Hank Aaron was an Atlanta Brave, so it made
Yeah, he was
sense to
amazing.
do a tribute to him. And then they also used this new automated ball strike ABS system, which is new this year and has never really been utilized. It was the first time it had been used in the All Star game. And you and I were
I
talking
like
about
it.
how much we love the technology. I mean, some of the technology they put in baseball is really cool.
I liked it. They reversed a call on a strike. It
They
was really
did.
good.
So, what do you think of that? About them going more and more automated and less
I liked it. I liked
um,
it.
yeah. I
It
mean,
was
if you
clearly a strike. The ump called it a ball, and then it was a strike.
yeah,
They got it right, you know?
yeah, I think they're going to be using this more and more. And I think it'll take a lot of the controversy out of the umpiring and make it more of a stable league because you can rely on the pitches, especially when you're in the World Series or something, Game 7.
Yeah.
You can use this system to make sure you get it right.
The reason you have to get it right is because the camera angles are so amazing now. There's so many cameras on each game. And the average home theater or TV situation that people are watching it on is so clear and so big and so evident when they get it wrong that you can't just fake it anymore and say, let the umps call it on the field, or, you
Mhm.
can't get it that wrong sometimes and then not have an outbreak of fan disgust. Fans
Mhm.
are seeing whether the toes were down in football or whether there was a fumble under the pile. You have to get it right, so you have to use video technology and other technologies that help the umps get it right.
That and also if you look at the other sports, they're trying to catch up to football, who uses technology almost exclusively to do things like whether you got a first down,
Yeah,
to do things like if you got 2 feet down in bounds, to do
right.
every call in NFL now is looked at by some type of videographer. So technology is huge in football. It's huge in soccer now. I mean, I've seen games recently where
Yeah.
ball hits the crossbar and comes down, and one side thinks it's a goal because it came down inside, and the other doesn't. Well, technology decides if it does,
And
and then
also offsides that negates
offsides.
goals and stuff. Yeah.
And in Wimbledon, we were watching Wimbledon. Of course, Wimbledon, whether the ball's in or out on a serve, that kind of thing, they can
Yeah.
tell all of that now with technology. So
And honestly, now that they're serving 135, 137 miles an hour,
you have to have it.
you need some help. Like if you're the
Yeah,
umpire, you need some help.
no doubt. So another big thing, mic'd up moments was a really cool thing. They've done this in other All-Star games. They've done it in the hockey. They've done it in
Yeah.
football. Others. but they had select players mic'd up, allowing for live commentary during gameplay, including some of the pitchers.
I enjoyed listening to Kershaw.
That was so cool,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
I wish they could find a way to do this in regular season games. I know that they wouldn't because of all the signs and sign
Yeah,
stealing.
maybe on a delay or something they could, but
What do you think they could do this? Because
it was so fun, like, listening to him say, "Oh my god," like, "I accidentally threw that one down the center. I'm so glad he didn't swing at that because he would have put that out of the park." You
like, do
know,
you
when
know
he
what they do this in exclusively? They do it in regular season games. Is in the UFL, which is the new combined spring league in football.
Yeah.
They do it in every game, and you can hear the coach talking to the quarterback, and you can hear the quarterback talking to the wide receiver, and it adds a really cool element, like you're there and you're in the huddle. So I don't know. I don't know how you could incorporate this more, but I thought it was a really cool feature. I think they need to do
Mhm.
more of it. Makes it much more interesting. So hats off to Atlanta. Put on a great All-Star game. Makes me excited for next year. So let's
Yeah, it was
talk
a
about
great one.
Caitlyn Clark, the growth of the WNBA. Caitlyn Clark's arrival in the WNBA has undeniably had a significant positive impact on the league's popularity and revenue. She's been a major draw for increased viewership, attendance, and merchandise sales. Her presence has attracted new sponsors and fans to women's basketball. There's an economist at Indiana University estimated that Clark was responsible for 36 million in economic impact just to Indianapolis alone, just that city, and almost 27% of the league's economic activity for the entire league, all franchises, in 2024. And that'll be higher by another 15% in 2025. At the 2023 National Championship game, she played for Iowa. It was the most watched women's college basketball game in history, averaging 9.9 million viewers. So she's having a humongous impact.
Yeah.
You just can't deny it.
It can't be overstated.
So, what is your thought about what she's meant to the league? Is she the league's Michael Jordan? What do you try to attribute her to? And
I kind of feel like she's the league's Tiger Woods.
yeah,
She's taken a league that was doing okay and made it entirely something else
yeah.
just by herself. That's
She,
Tiger Woods-esque, you know.
you know what Colin Cowherd
Jordan didn't
said?
really do that, you know. It's hard to think of an athlete that has done that other than maybe Tiger Woods.
Colin Cowherd said that she's taken a league that, let's be honest, was pretty boring,
Yeah,
and she's made the Indiana Fever games must see TV.
correct.
I mean, how do you do
Yeah,
that? Like in
because
one
she's a
season?
really good passer, distributor. She's a good defender. She plays really intensely, and she's a good shooter. She does it all. So
She
all
shoots like
her fellow teammates get better because of the way she plays. She
shoots like
dishes.
Steph
She
Curry.
like
Yeah,
yeah. She's like Steph Curry. She makes
yeah.
you better if you're on her team. So her whole team is a boat is like boats that are rising because of the water rises. Um, but I really think of her as kind of like the female Tiger Woods. She took her sport to a new level, and it's evident in all the numbers, and you can just see the success. And go look at this is her third injury she's on now. Um,
Mhm.
go look at what happens when she's out. You know,
Viewership plummets. That's what
plummets.
happens.
You know,
I
so
mean,
it's
absolutely plummet, like cuts
clearly
in half. Yeah.
it is her sport that she's making more palatable, but at the same time, it's really just her. Like, it's mostly her, and when she's not there, her sport really suffers.
So she's already grown the league tremendously. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen if you go into 26 and 27, 28, and more good players come in like Paige Beckers? Is this league going to continue to grow? Is it going to continue to be more popular? Is Caitlin Clark going to be the driver of that?
I think so. I mean, I think you see at the ESPYs when they're making fun of when Shane Gillis says, give it up for, and he says a lady's name out here in the audience, two-time WNBA All-Star. And then everyone claps, and then he goes, "I'm just kidding. That's my friend's wife." I knew
Yeah,
you
yeah.
wouldn't have any idea who anyone
Yeah.
in the
He's making a point.
WNBA except
He's
for
making a
Caitlyn
point.
Clark is.
Yeah.
And that really kind of struck a chord of they haven't done a great job of marketing. People who are coming out of college who have a really good name, they could kind of ride that coattails and make them even bigger. And the
Mhm.
WNBA has not done a great job of celebrating their stars.
Mhm.
And I think they're learning how to do that with Caitlyn, but almost by force at this point because they kind of fought it in the beginning. They didn't put her on the Olympic team, um, so
It's interesting. The rest of the players voted and voted her the ninth best guard in the league. That kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
do you think the other players are going to stop this kind of you know bullying they do towards her, and they
Yes, I heard.
they don't really accept her for some reason, and they don't realize what she's doing for their league. They need to accept her and they need to
I think
promote her.
they accept it, but they also feel threatened by it. So, I heard a veteran player say, "I think that all this bullying and challenging of Caitlyn Clark is kind of over now. Like she kind of proved herself now, and
Hmm.
you're gonna see it let up."
Hmm.
So I
I
think
hope
so.
so. I hope
I
so.
think so. I think people are realizing what they have with her is very special, and you might as well take advantage of it because
Hmm.
it's the only reason you're getting these huge TV deals, and that's the only reason you're flying private jet to your games and
It's
everything
true.
else.
So look at some of this unprecedented WNBA growth. This is her effect. This is incredible. 601% in merchandise sales.
Hmm.
538% All-Star votes. Like nobody would vote for the All-Star game before she came.
Yeah.
Social media views 436. League pass subscriptions 366.
Yeah.
NBA WNBA draft viewers. I mean, it's just on and on and on. Like you can't really underestimate her impact. It's pretty incredible.
That's what I'm saying. Golf has this with Tiger Woods. There's there's no there's not many other comparable athletes out there.
Because even people who don't follow the WNBA feel like they have to tune in. That's
Yeah.
what it is. The casual fan. So it's pretty amazing. Caitlyn, this is an interesting thing. It came out of an article. It said if Caitlyn Clark's worth $1 billion to the WNBA, which is what a lot of analysts are saying, $1 billion during her career, they're saying why is she paid only a fraction of that? So that's the big question. Is how are they going to figure out what her impact is and how are they going to compensate her and the rest of the WNBA correctly according to the profits?
Well, this brings up a really interesting debate that's going on right now, where pay us what you owe us shirts were worn the last couple of nights
Right.
and are going to continue to be worn. There's a big pressure push by the WNBA players to get a bigger chunk of the big TV revenue that's coming. So um, there's a $2.2 billion media deal um, that has been signed. The problem is expansion fees of over $250 million are in place. So big chunks of the big TV deal are being spent to expand the league. And the players are saying you're only expanding the league because of our hard work.
But let's say out of the 2.2 billion, she's responsible for $1 billion of that value. Okay. So what they're saying in this article, it's kind of a good question. I mean, if she's worth half of that, then what should she be compensated compared to everybody else? Like what's fair?
So I think I don't know why, but she kind of reminds me of the Savannah Bananas. This huge phenom of a baseball team has come forward, but the only way they exist is if they have formidable opponents, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the games aren't interesting. If they're playing against other teams that are like real teams that are kind of boring, then the Savannah Bananas don't have as outstanding of a performance, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
this is a baseball analogy, but I feel like Caitlyn can only do so much by herself. Um, she needs the league to rally around being entertaining and having their stars step forward, and every team needs a star on it. And they need to become profitable. And the only way you become profitable is by eyeballs, TV deals, and pushing hard on um, advertisers and filling the stadiums and becoming interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
what they've done to this point has not been outstanding. It's been very boring basketball
And
overall.
you need rivalries, right? So you've got
You
Angel
need
Reese.
rivalries. You
She and
need
Angel
great
Reese have a big.
players. You need to follow players through college and watch them elevate and then come into the pros and then keep following them. So you have an emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
They need to ride these superstars coming out of college and make it a real thing. And it's tough because they can complain all they want about not making money, but the league's not in a healthy place.
So
And
that's the question we want to wrap a bow around this, and that is the WNBA about to become profitable? I personally think yes.
it is. For the first time, it's going to become profitable. But now is not the time to push hard, I don't think, for their agreement. They need to be profitable for a year and then come back together and say, look, we're making you money.
Yeah.
But they lost $40 million last year.
Mm-hmm.
So when they scream about what they're owed, should they help pay that shortfall? Like,
I mean, I saw a meme yesterday. It had they had changed the T-shirts on these ladies, and it said, "We owe the NBA" or something like that. So yeah, it's a good question. I think that they're about to become profitable. I think that's when the players are going to have a position to come talk to management. Right
they'll
now,
have leverage when they've made a profit. But to this point, they've only lost a ton of money. And last year they lost 40 million. And that's with all the viewership up. And so they need to be really careful not to think that they are some juggernaut. Like, you
right?
remember Friends, the show Friends?
Mm-hmm.
And those actors could demand $1 million an episode each or whatever. The reason they could is because they were profitable on a huge
Mm-hmm.
scale. They
Mm-hmm.
were the most successful TV show other than Seinfeld that probably TV's ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you demand your money. You
Right.
don't demand it when you're on the verge of being canceled, you know? And
The other
so,
thing I would say that some of the things that they resent about Caitlyn is she's making 30 million off the court this year in endorsements. 30,
but
30
she
million.
has to.
And
She
so,
has to
but
make it
she
off
doesn't.
the court and not on the court
But I'm
because
saying she doesn't need
her
the
league
salary.
and her team are losing money.
But my point is, she doesn't need the salary, and the others do, because they're not going to get the endorsements.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean,
But
she's getting taken care of by the endorsers.
until the league makes money, which I think this year it's going to because of that TV deal,
Mm-hmm.
which is a great thing. Like, we're all excited about it, we're happy about it. But before you make your money is not the hard time to push.
I think
I
it's going
I
to be fun.
I think negotiators need to understand that you're going to have to be patient for one more year until you put dollars on the books and say that's because of our hard work.
I think it's going to be fun to track her career. It's going to be fun to watch the WNBA grow
Yeah.
and develop and see what they can do to compensate the players, but do it in a way that doesn't bankrupt the league. And so we're going to be watching
Right.
very carefully. But I love watching her play personally. I think she's
Yeah.
really a fantastic player, and I love what she's doing for the league. So let's
She's
continue to watch.
intense. She's super high skill level.
Mm-hmm. She is.
And she's scrappy and she's just really fun to watch.
Let's look at the last remaining free agents in the NBA as we come down to the end of the free agency period. We're getting very close. The first one's Malcolm Brogdon. He's
Yeah.
32 and kind of in the twilight of his career, but he still brings a lot of good skills, especially as a backup point guard or emergency starter for certain teams. And he could really go to a contender at this point in his career. That's what he wants, is to go to a contender and be kind of that depth that you need. Last year, scored 12.7 points and 4 assists for the Wizards in limited action. Also has a lot of leadership, which is really important for a lot of teams. So he's the number one free agent available right now. Do you think he'll get picked up here in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I've been reading that he's talking to the Clippers, which would be amazing because he'd be on there with Bradley Beal, John Collins, Brooke Lopez,
Mm-hmm.
and of course Kawhi. So
Kawhi, yeah, they got a
I
good team.
mean, that would be an awesome team. You add
They
Malcolm
would.
Brogdon.
They would. They really would.
But it's not a done deal or anything, but it just that would be interesting.
And he can give you, 15 to 20 minutes a night. That's all you need.
At
You know,
least, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be watching where he signs. I'm excited about where he's going next. The next is Josh Giddey. It's always a red flag when a restricted free agent hasn't agreed to a deal yet. Giddey's asking price is too high for Chicago, although that's who owns his rights right now. He's really an excellent player, though. He last year averaged 14, 8, and 7. So he's almost a triple-double guy. So his big problem is that he's asking for $30 million a season. And he's kind of like a borderline starter, borderline 6th or 7th man kind of person. So he's in that weird kind of no man's land right now, but he's a really solid player. If he could bring his asking price down, I think he'd get snapped up pretty quickly.
I think it's pretty simple. It's just about money, and if he's asking for too much.
Chicago can't fit him under the cap at 30, so.
Right. And maybe it's partly he's trying to move, he's trying to move out of there.
And they want 2 second-round picks for him, so we'll see if somebody's willing to give it, because he could be a good addition for somebody who's a contender. We'll see where Josh goes. Then we got Quentin Grimes. He's actually a really excellent player. He had tremendous 21.9 points per night. And the Mavs ended up giving up on him, especially given their backcourt needs, which was really surprising. They actually shipped him to Philly, and Philly only had him for half a season. He's also a restricted free agent and would cost draft capital, and also wants a pretty penny, as you can imagine, but is a really fantastic scorer and can bring a real offensive punch to a team. So he and Josh Giddey are kind of in that same boat where they want too much for the team that has their rights. So you think this is going to keep happening to these types of players that fall in that kind of 6th or 7th man on the roster but want $30 million?
I think there's always going to be some delusion from good players who think they're great.
Like if these guys asked for 20, they would have been signed already. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just in that weird.
And either their agent or someone in their family or whatever is telling them to push hard because you'll get it. And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
That's right. I'll be watching to see who picks him up. Again, these are the kind of guys that you feel like will be picked up right at the deadline by a contender who can barely fit them in. It feels like they're one player away kind of thing. Next one is Al Horford. Horford, of course, is a very late stage in his career. He does have a championship 2 years ago with Boston. Can still play. He's really kind of the backup center type at this point of his career, 35 years old. The Warriors apparently are interested in him, and he would have to decide if he wants to live on the West Coast. He has homes in Boston and in Miami, feeling like he wants to play 1 or 2 more years at the most. The thoughts about Al Horford? Do you think he might get picked up in the right situation?
He just keeps winning. I'm not really sure how you quantify somebody who's so valuable by just veteran leadership, has so many championships and championship runs.
He wants in the 24 million range, and the Celtics.
Yeah, I'm nervous about that kind of money, but I'd love to have him on my team.
They just couldn't do that for a backup center,
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because he's such a good fit in Boston. But
it's not just that he's a good center; it's that he just comes with so much experience.
He's thinking to himself, okay, if I got 1 more season left, I need to make my lick right now. That's what he's thinking for retirement.
Yeah.
So then you got the great player, Jonathan Kuminga, who for some reason, nobody can understand, he just didn't get along with Steve Kerr, even though he really played well for Golden State last year. He has a very high price tag, but he's one of the real impact players that's still available. And nobody can really understand why he and Golden State kind of washed out on each other. But there is a slight possibility he might return there, but it looks like he's going somewhere else. So what do you think about Kuminga?
I don't know what he should do. I mean, probably needs a fresh start.
I think so.
Yeah.
You never really know what those dynamics are because we don't see it, what happens in the locker room, but there's something between him and Steve Kerr. It just doesn't.
Is it him and Steve Kerr? Is it him and Steph?
Yeah, I don't know. He's so good that every team would want him, but I don't know what the dynamics are in the locker room and what you're dealing with.
Yeah, there's something off there, and we don't know what it is.
Yeah. So then you don't see number 6 on the list because it was on there originally, but I had to take it off because Damian Lillard ended up signing with his old team, the Portland Trail Blazers, goes back home, spent almost his entire career there, and now he's back home. And I know Portland's really happy to have him. We were all wondering where he was going to sign since he was unrestricted free agent. So he's off the board. So the number 7 is Chris Paul, who is 40 years old. He'd be the oldest point guard in history if he actually played this season. He did play all 82 games last year at 39 years old for the Phoenix Suns, which is pretty incredible. He keeps himself in amazing shape. He has a lot of experience. He's a great distributor, not a great scorer anymore. What are your thoughts about Chris Paul? Can he be picked up? Can he be a backup point guard?
No, he did get picked up by the Clippers.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yep. I think it was today.
I didn't see that. All right, fantastic.
Yep.
You thought he might, so
Picked up by the Clippers in his 21st season.
Imagine if he and Brogdon both go there. It'd be
I know.
cool to watch. Yeah.
They're trying to make moves. They want to be relevant.
Yeah, they do. Well, they have to. They're in the West.
Yeah.
To be competitive in the West with all those great teams, you got to have good players. Well, good for Chris Paul. I've always been a big fan of his. And we know that he's towards the end of his career as well. So those are the big free agents still on the board, waiting for a deal. Let's look at some NFL news. You got the Commanders' new look defense. You were talking about this the other day, Robbie. Do they have a good enough defense? I think so. You got Frankie Louvu, who's one of the top 3 linebackers in football. They signed Von Miller, Daron Payne. They got Marshawn Lattimore. They re-upped him for a deal. They got Bobby Wagner, who's a little bit older, but still a good player. And then you got Kinlaw. They signed in free agency as well. So they had a real active offseason to sign all these guys. What do you think about some of these impact players for the Commanders?
I like these players a lot. I think it's really going to come down to whether they can mesh well together, but I can't imagine why not.
You can see they're trying to go all in. I mean, they feel like they were in the NFC Championship game. They were right there.
Yeah. They got to take pressure off their offense.
You got to stop the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, we know that. So
that's right.
Yeah.
You got to stop Saquon from jumping over your players backwards.
I like this defense. I don't know. It's coming together.
Yeah.
We'll see. So this is interesting. The NFL scouts and executives named Fred Warner as the best linebacker in the league. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Somebody else? You do?
Yep.
He's pretty fearsome. I will say that.
Like he when he's on cover, the field, he can hit. He's got everything.
Yeah. You feel it when he's on the field. I mean, he just has that presence. So you agree with that? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I think so too. Next one was interesting. Most MVP awards was Peyton Manning. I didn't realize that. I knew he had a couple, but he has 5. Aaron Rodgers with 4. Jim Brown, Johnny Unitas, and Brett Favre all with 3, and then also Tom Brady with 3.
Brett Favre has 3?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was interesting. So, any of these guys surprise you? I mean, the biggest surprise for me was Peyton Manning. I didn't know he had 5. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady with 3. Yeah, so I don't know. This was an interesting list to me. I didn't realize a couple of those guys. If you had to pick one, Robbie, and drop us a comment, guys. Drop us a comment. If you had to pick one of these guys to start your team with right now, you're starting a new franchise. Who would it be?
I think probably Jordan Love.
Reasons?
I just think his leadership qualities. He's a very good player. He's still got his best football in front of him. He's young.
You know why I wouldn't pick Goff?
He's got all the intangibles.
I like Goff, but I wouldn't pick him because if you're starting a new franchise, you're going to have a bad offensive line. And
he's not mobile.
Goff's a statue. He just can't move. So I would pick either Jordan Love or Brock Purdy. I might take Brock Purdy. I just think he's playing really well right now. One of those 2 guys I would take for my new franchise. Drop us a comment, guys. Who would you take out of these 4? Highest paid cornerbacks in the NFL. I cannot believe, Robbie, what these guys are making now. Sauce Gardner at 30 million per.
Yeah.
Derek Stingley at 30 million. J.C. Horn for the Panthers 25. Jalen Ramsey at 24, and then Patrick Surtain at 24. Any surprise about some of the dollars these top 5 guys are getting?
Not really. I think it's such a specialized position, has such an impact on the throwing league. If you don't have one of these guys, you're in real trouble.
And you need someone to cover their number one receiver. It's just
Well, you'll
as
always
simple
be
as that.
bringing in a safety and taking him out of run support, and you fillet your defense wide open when you don't have extra run support.
You remember when they used to call it Revis Island, where they put Revis out on an island by
Yeah.
himself? There's such an advantage to be able to do that if you can just let these guys take the number one guy.
Yeah, no question.
So are they worth this type of salary structure? I mean,
Probably none of that is outrageous in my mind.
okay.
You know, some quarterbacks are making twice that, and they're not worth it. So
I don't know. I never thought I'd see a cornerback at
these
30
guys
million.
they have to be on the field though. They can't be hurt all the time. J.C. Horn's killing the Panthers by
I
not being
know.
available.
He's a great player, but he
He's a
just
great
misses
player,
half the
but
games. Yeah.
he's not
You're,
available.
you're right. Absolutely right.
When you're paid that top dollar, the one thing is you have to be out there.
So this last one's interesting. We didn't quite appreciate that this was the greatest era of QB play in NFL history. So you had
I think so.
Tom Brady, you had Manning, you had
Pretty
Rodgers.
sure I sent this to you the other night and we had a
You
discussion
did.
about it. And
You did. That's why I put it in.
I mean, you can't argue it. Like that was an
And Drew Brees.
incredible set of quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty special, and I do wonder whether we appreciated it enough at the time. How great all these guys were, and there was other guys you could add to this list too at the time, but it was pretty incredible to watch. So, looking at other news, this is the pay them thing you were just talking about. Pay us what you owe us. And you see the WNBA commissioner there in the center. She's the one who's under tremendous pressure right now. Her name is Kathy Engelhart. And she's in a situation where she's trying to negotiate a new TV deal. She's getting pressure from the players. They're still losing money. And yet the crowd's yelling, pay them, pay them. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of a PR nightmare on all sides. Kelsey Plum, who's a star in the league, was running her mouth and really let the cat out of the bag on a couple of things. Number one, she said that half the players didn't even know the shirts were happening and what was going
right.
on.
And
40
here,
players
here's the shirt,
negotiated.
by the way. Here's
40
the shirt.
players negotiated with the league, and a lot of the rest of them didn't have a clue about it. Caitlyn Clark's team was not really involved in any of the negotiating. And so Kelsey Plum really let the cat out of the bag by saying we're not that unified as we try to put pressure on the league
You think
while
that's a
we're losing money.
disorganization?
So
Is that a disorganization thing? Is that the players' union's not very good? What is that?
it's inexperience in being here with the Players Association not knowing how to message and have united front. And, you know, Kelsey Plum should be a veteran who knows how to not sabotage their own negotiations. And yet there she is doing it. So it's nothing against her. I actually like her a lot as a player. It illustrates how little the girls actually understand their position, their leverage points, and how much leverage they have over the league, etc.
So you can see what the shirts Rob was talking about are the pay us what you owe us. All these different players had them on. This is an interesting tagline here. Imagine being an employee at a company that has never turned a profit and showing up to work in these shirts.
Yeah,
And it really makes a good point. And that's how a lot of observers of this feel. Like if you really had a beef, like let's say the league was making $5 billion a year and you were getting
yeah.
peanuts, then you'd
We
have a
want a bigger
case.
piece of it or something, but they
Yeah.
lost $40 million last year, and this is not the time for this massive push for more money.
Yeah. Drop us a comment, guys. What do you guys think about
To
this
be
whole thing?
fair, I understand it because they just signed a big TV deal that's going to bring a lot more revenue, and everybody's projecting the WNBA to make some money next year. So
Mm-hmm.
you can understand how they would say, okay, well, let's make sure a lot of that goes to our players
Mm-hmm.
because they're creating this environment. But
Right.
they're going to have to build this environment first, have it succeed, and then go for the money,
Agreed.
or else it just won't work.
They need to work together, I think. I think this
Yeah.
whole management versus players, it doesn't work. They need to work together to grow it.
Right.
So
And all the players need to be on the same page.
so this was interesting. Clint Dempsey comes out and calls out the U.S. team and essentially says, of course, he was a really great player and was a great player for the team for a long time. But he says, look, for many decades now, we've been saying U.S. team is going to have success in the World Cup. And we've had some success where we get out of the group stage before,
A
but
little bit.
we've never really gotten to like a semifinal or a final. And he's essentially calling out the team now in the program and saying, look, we've got to find a way to have some success in our own World Cup next year in 2026.
Yeah.
Do you think this helps? Does it add too much pressure? I mean, I think what he's saying is right.
It's not bulletin board material and it doesn't add more pressure. The pressure's already there. He's right. I mean, the players can't accept a poor showing and think that we'll get them next year and the fans will believe us when we say we're going to get them. We're going to do better next time. Like they've
Well,
they've been told that for enough times in a row where they're like, no, you're not. I mean,
well, and you also might not get another World Cup in the U.S. for another 20 to 30 years.
sure.
So what he's saying is you're going to have all these pro U.S. Fans with their kids watching these games. You got to give them a show. You got to do something special.
Yeah, you're gonna have to dig
Yeah.
deep in front of your home fans, and you're gonna have to pull
Yeah.
out some points, ties,
So
beat the bad team.
if there wasn't enough pressure already, Clint Dempsey throws down the gauntlet.
Yeah, I don't think he added any, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I agree with him. I don't know what the best approach
Yeah,
is to help the
I
team.
agree with him.
Yeah. This is pretty cool. Aaron Judge becomes the fastest player to hit 350 home runs ever in Major League history. Where do you think he's going with this
He's a
legendary career?
specimen.
Yeah,
uh, you know, top 10 hitter of all time pretty soon.
I think
And
so.
he'll just climb in the ranks.
Maybe top 5 hitter eventually.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Not gonna,
I
that kind
think
of range.
ultimately he'll end up in the top 5.
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable what he's doing. As long as he doesn't get hurt,
Well, that's the thing.
he's just a basher. That's what he
Is
is.
is
He's
his
just a
career
basher.
going to continue on the
Yeah.
trajectory?
You just can't
I
give
know.
him anything to hit. He just crushes the ball. So this was Michael Mizrachi. We talked a little bit about this in the lead-in. He did something truly remarkable. He won the 2025 World Series of Poker main event title, Poker Immortality. Had one of the most historic summers in WSOP history. He had actually already won a bracelet 2 weeks before this in a different event, which was the Players Championship. So nobody's ever done that before. Won a bracelet and then 2 weeks later win the main event and $10 million. And this is a guy who's had a remarkable career already. He'd already won a bunch of bracelets and a bunch of titles already. And so for him to come in and play this 14,000 person field and beat the whole thing, it's just truly remarkable. I don't think people really realize how hard this is to win a tournament like this.
Yeah,
He
it
had to
is.
get he had to get super lucky in the final 2 tables, of course. He had a bunch of hitting things on the river and things like that, and you have to have that. But just played really well, and I think everybody was really happy for him. And then he had something happen to him that's never happened before in any sport or any activity, and that was all of the great players showed up to induct him immediately into the Poker Hall of Fame, which I thought was a really cool touch. Usually they have to wait for the whole year to vote for it and everything, but
Yeah,
they decided that he had already had such a career, he should have been in already, and that it would be really cool as they handed him this trophy to also just go ahead and put him in automatically.
man, what a night!
What a night he had! He gets all these different honors and everything, and then they
Nice win, and by the way,
put him
you're
in
in the
the
Hall
Hall
of
of Fame.
Fame.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
So pretty remarkable with this
Yeah,
guy. Yeah. So they were saying he said after the tournament, all his brothers and friends were all there. He had a lot of people on the rail, and he said something like, "We're going to have a very big bar tab tonight," or something like that. You
Yeah.
can imagine he's got $10 million. He's gonna be picking up a couple rounds for everybody. But congratulations to Mizrachi, man. He deserved it. So this was pretty cool. Cancel any plans for August 30th, which is the kickoff weekend of college football. And you can see what we got that day. We got Coastal versus UVA, our team. You got the noon kickoff, Texas versus Ohio State, which is college game day. It's gonna be really fun. Alabama, Florida State at 3:30. LSU, Clemson at 7:30, and then Utah, UCLA, the night game. So
Does that say 8 p.m. Coastal Virginia?
that's 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
It's a 6 p.m. game. So, I mean, I just have to think there's going to be a lot of people in their man caves, right? Setting up
Yeah.
their beers, setting up all their chips and their snacks and their finger foods.
People are
And
ready.
the women who love football are going to be there, and the women who don't love football are going to be out shopping or something like that. But
Maybe.
how excited are you about a day like this, Robbie?
I'm pumped. I'm pumped. There's a lot of good games early,
And that
early in the
noon
season.
kickoff, everyone's going to be watching that.
LSU, Clemson. Like,
You don't usually get Texas Ohio State at noon on the
no,
opening
that's
weekend.
huge.
Yeah, that's
That's one of
crazy.
the biggest games of the year.
I know. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So this was pretty interesting. Breaking: Michael Jordan was chosen as the number one GOAT in the Bleacher Report most recent poll that they did for NBA players of all time. They voted MJ first, LeBron second, Kareem third, Magic fourth, Russell fifth, and etc. Shaq, Duncan, Bird. So, what do you think of this? Do you think this is the order it should go? Do you agree with
Yeah.
this top 10?
That's they nailed it.
Wilt 9, Steph 10.
Yep.
I don't know about Bird 8. I put him a little higher, but
Yeah, I
maybe,
think he's about 5.
maybe it's just me. But it's hard to argue with Russell. It's hard to argue with Shaq. I'm not putting Shaq above Bird, though. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm not putting Duncan above Bird. That's crazy.
Mm, they're right around each other. I'm not sure.
So, Kareem third, do you think?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Drop us a comment, guys, what you think of this list and if it's true. I don't know about Dr. J down at 20 either. It's a little bit low.
I mean, he's one of my favorites, so
Yeah.
he's got to be around 10.
I liked Bird to be a little higher, Shaq to be a tiny bit lower, MJ's in the right spot, and Kobe. Kobe might be in the top 10. But
Oh,
anyway, this is
yeah.
a pretty good list, and I was really happy to see that they're giving all these guys recognition. It was very cool. So let's get into this new verb we have on the in the culture, which is to be cold played. It's a new verb. It's actually in all the different online dictionaries now. And to be cold played means essentially be exposed on national TV against your will, and you made a huge mistake by doing it. So we have this situation where all these hilarious memes have been coming out about this couple that were at a Coldplay concert. Both of them married to different people. He was CEO of a company. She was the HR director of that same company. And they got busted on camera. And Chris Martin of Coldplay actually said something to the effect of either they're having an affair or they're very shy. So
Yeah.
what was your thought when you saw this scandal for the first time, and what is your theory about why it's gone so viral across the world?
So I'll be honest with you. I've been sending you a lot of the memes, and I've really had a chuckle, along with most of the world laughing at these people and their situation. On the other hand, I'll just say that I'm close to a situation like this where, on a personal note, I understand how this can be a trigger uh, for the infidelity, and you can kind of, if you can get past the funny memes, what you have is a very sad situation of betrayal and a very public humiliation of the spouses and the families. Like, for instance, if you have any humanity and you think about what the spouses and what the children are going through, the memes aren't as funny,
Hmm.
and
It's true.
I've enjoyed seeing the the Coldplay cam at all the baseball games where
Hmm.
obviously couples that love each other are playing along, and it's funny. But then
Or the two Phillies mascots
the
last night
Philly
when
mascots, just
they acted
random
it out.
couples all throughout. They're doing their cute like little imitation, and that's funny. But when you really boil it down, it's a really ugly, sad event. And
Well, two marriages
I don't want to
were,
bring down all our viewers, but
yeah.
I hope they understand that this is a trigger for a lot of people who are going through stuff like this.
Hmm.
And also, it's an extreme devastation of the people involved. So I feel like I'm really torn on this one because, like I said, I'm close to events, knowing people who are going through this and have gone through this.
But you can
And
see how the memes are hilarious to somebody who's
the
not
memes
involved.
are hilarious. I've been sending them to
Like
you,
this one about my sister. That's hilarious. I
but I'm
mean,
conflicted because I understand how much pain is around this,
yeah,
and we don't really know whether all these people are about to get divorced or if this is a
right.
shock to the system. You have to think it's a shock. But I do know that there's a lot of people out there who get triggered by their own betrayal that they've had to endure. And so this is a lot more serious for some people out there.
So
And
who do
so
you think
for
put?
them, if you're a viewer of ours, um, I'm sorry that if you have to go through that stuff, and this could be a trigger. And I just say just turn it, turn away from it, and don't revel in people's misery, just because there's a humor element to it too. It's actually really sad.
What do
But
you think of the Patrick Mahomes one? Do you think that's just a Chief hating fan or something?
yeah, I mean, that obviously speaks to that was the one part of the memes that was kind of clever, was how you could tie other things to it. So
Right.
Mahomes with the obviously the claim is that the referees are really close with him.
Yeah.
So,
Miss
but
Piggy, Miss Piggy cheating on Kermit.
yeah,
This one was funny. Zelensky and Putin. I mean,
yeah, it
totally,
was funny
totally
having
hilarious.
all the different bedfellows put together, people who traditionally hate each other or at war, or so that part was funny and clever. But if you think about the actual event, it was really sad.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. So my question is for this page is why did this go so viral? What was it about it? There must have been some element of it that touched every single person because everyone's interested in it.
I think
It's not
it was a really slow news week. It was a really slow sports week. And it also, I'm talking about sort of the nerve that it can touch, and everyone knows somebody who's been cheated on and or families that have had to endure affairs. So it touched a lot of different families different ways. Um, there was the completely savage troll side of the internet going crazy with memes and laughing at these people. And then there's the other side of this who are realizing that there's people getting triggered by this who are suffering. And then there's also the legal part of this, just listening to lawyers talking about how, they might be completely liable, for the CEO of the company might be completely liable for um, damage to the shareholders and all
mhm.
kinds of other things.
Well,
And
I think
there
another
were like
thing that
three major legal questions that are really putting them at a high level of exposure.
I have another theory about why it was so viral, and it is that they're looking at these people that are truly of privilege. You have this guy who's a CEO is making 1.5 million a year. You have the lady who's the director of HR who's supposed to be lecturing people at her company about not doing this, who
Yes.
got completely caught flat-footed. You have wives and husbands involved. You have kids involved. You have pensions involved. And you have all these different elements of our society all involved, wrapped up into one story. And that's why I think it went viral. Everyone knows somebody. They also are looking at these two
Yeah.
people of privilege who are trying to sneak out. He was saying he was playing pickleball with his buddies. There's just so many angles to this. And then, of course, it
And,
becomes
and, and I think you also touched on it because he's a CEO, so it's easy to hate CEOs who are making millions or whatever, and there's that piece of it. And then you add in everyone has an HR, and everyone's scared of their HR, and everyone
Mhm,
thinks their HR is full of hypocrites. And then you have this hypocritical situation
mhm,
come screaming at you, and it resonates because you're like,
mhm,
aha, I knew it. All HRs are like that, and they're not. But when you're getting lectured by HR people and you know that they're human too,
mhm.
it hits nerves. And so I think a lot of the stuff resonated with people for various reasons. All of them are fairly logical and very much kind of predictable, to be honest.
So, do you think Coldplay is enjoying the notoriety? Is this good for them, bad for them? They have a verb named after them now. What's your thought about Coldplay's role in
I
this?
think they feel the exact same way I do. I think they're conflicted. I think they love how some funny things have come from this, how there was an element of karma that was visited on some people who were doing the wrong thing. Um, but they also are hearing from fans right now that are dealing with triggers, being triggered, having living nightmares visit them with what they're having to endure. And I think Coldplay is well aware of all of these different feelings, and some of them are
Mhm.
funny and good, and some of them are horrible, and people are suffering. So I think they realize that there's it's a very complicated situation. That's a lot easier if you just live in the meme world with it.
What's amazing is if this had happened 20 years ago, of course, this never would have happened because people who didn't have phones wouldn't have been no video recording of it. And then, secondly, if they hadn't reacted the way they did, I wonder if it would
Right.
have even blown up
I
because
think if this had been a busy news week or sports week,
they
this would have been a
reacted.
much smaller story. And second, I think if the woman hadn't been from HR,
Yeah.
I think they would have just said these are just two people that lost their way and whatever. But the fact
Mhm.
that these people both wielded so much power over
Right.
others
That's
and
right.
could clearly misusing it, I think it makes everyone question your own boss, your own situations. I'm not saying I'm questioning mine, but I'm saying a lot of people out there are sort of um, digging into, I knew HR was like that, and I knew CEOs all act like that and whatever. And so
Well,
that their experience in life is being shaped by it. And
I have
that's
not seen anything this viral in a long, long time. It's
yeah.
unbelievable. They talk about it on every program on TV. It's just completely viral. And so I
Yeah.
just want to get your take on why you thought it was so
I
viral.
know the story's gonna lose its legs, but it's still kind
For
of
sure.
raging along.
For sure. So let's go to our two-part question of the week, subscriber challenge. The first one is, will Scotty Scheffler be considered a top five all-time great? Robbie,
Top five.
would he get into the top five, do you think?
He might make it to five.
I think so.
I think there's a good chance of that. Maybe 60% chance.
I think he will.
Right around 50 to
He's on his way.
60%.
He's on his way. He gets to like 10, 11 majors, he'll be in the top five.
Yeah.
So,
I think he
so
might make it to the fifth best player of all time.
guys, drop us a comment. Will Scotty Scheffler make it into the top five all time? Let us know what you guys think.
And then if he
Mhm.
goes on a rampage, he could get higher than that. But
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say
yeah,
yes. I
I
think
think so. Yes.
he's going to get 10 or 11, I think, in that range. So this is really interesting, Robbie. This is tough. Which one would you take off the list? One got to go. Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Tom Brady, or Babe Ruth?
Oh,
Who are you taking off? This is the GOAT edition of One Gotta Go. It's tough. I know who mine is. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm saying it because of the year Ovechkin just had. I'm taking Wayne Gretzky off and I'm putting Ovechkin in there.
uh,
I know it's tough.
I think I'm taking Babe Ruth off.
Babe Ruth? Okay.
I'm not happy about it,
Reason?
but I think that he had a lot of great players around him. He played a lot of plumbers.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
We talked about that in our baseball episode, guys. If you didn't see it, we talked a lot about
he
Babe
had
Ruth.
an impact and a mystique, but if
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about greatest players of all time, I don't think he was quite in that group.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not.
He was one of the most impactful players of all time, maybe number one actually in baseball. But
Mm-hmm.
as far as talent,
Especially in popularizing the game, he basically made it the
yeah,
national pastime.
yeah,
That's
he
what he did.
became a national star and somebody
Heck,
that
he had a chocolate bar named after
he
him.
was like a human cartoon character. Is
Yeah,
really what he was.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's a tough one. I'm not happy about taking Babe Ruth off, but
Well,
that's
guys,
my
tell us
opinion.
who you would take off here. I'm taking off Gretzky. He's taking off Babe Ruth. Tell us who you would take off this list. So. All right. So before we get to the mailbag, Robbie, first one, top right there on this date in history, July 20th, 1885, England's Football Association legalized paying players. It essentially professionalized the sport of soccer or football. The pivotal decision allowed working class men to play professionally and led to the creation of the world's first football league, changing sports forever. Reason it changed sports forever is shortly after that, you had all the other leagues starting to professionalize. You had basketball, you had rugby, you had all these different leagues starting to, even baseball, starting to professionalize their leagues and pay their players. So this was a huge, huge milestone in history,
Yeah.
1885. Any thoughts on that?
Uh, I mean, it's pretty awesome. You know, it really laid a foundation.
And now you've got Ronaldo making 440 million this year.
Yeah, the
So you can
beautiful
look
game.
all the way back to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another one here, going back to the Kiss Cam couple. I know you're not going to like this one, but Dolphins fans watching their team play in warm weather,
Mm.
Dolphins fans watching their team play in cold weather.
Ouch.
What are your thoughts about that?
I don't love it.
You don't love it. I know. All right, I'm going to hand it to you.
Okay, I got a couple news items first. NFL Micah Parsons, he reported to camp even though he's unhappy with his contract, and so that's showing good leadership. I think he's heard the whispers about him not being committed and being too into the podcast and all
Mm-hmm.
that, and so that's good for Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cincy, Shamar Stewart, their only remaining rookie, arguing over his contract, hasn't reported. He's the only drafted rookie that has not. And they got a problem because he's fighting against the um, behavior clauses in his contract, which is interesting. It's not about money. It's about, I don't want to not be caught with strippers and get kicked, like whatever. I don't know. But so that's funny that he's drawing his line in the sand on behavioral.
Huh.
Um, that's kind of a new one.
Crazy.
The NFLPA head Lloyd Howell steps down. There were a lot of scandals around this man. Even some
Mm-hmm.
more came out today about strip clubs,
Mm-hmm.
um, expenditures. He was consulting for a firm that was helping decide expansion rules and stuff like that. So he was very, he needed to go. So there's a big search underway coming up there.
He was
Titans,
charging a lot of
Will
charging a lot
Levis,
of.
quarterback, is out for the season. Had
Mm-hmm.
shoulder surgery,
Mm-hmm. I saw
and
that.
so Cam Ward is probably going to start
Mm-hmm.
right out of the gate.
Right.
So I think that's why they said go ahead and get your shoulder fixed because we don't want a controversy anyway, and this will eliminate the controversy, and then we'll decide when you get healthy what we're going to do about it. So that's interesting. In the NBA, Con Canoopel, how about him?
Yeah.
He had
Fantastic.
21 points versus Sacramento, and they won the summer league title. So
I was really happy
he
for the Hornets.
he was an awesome choice for the
He was
Hornets.
awesome, and their second round pick was awesome.
Yeah,
McNeely from UConn, and he
yeah,
played fantastic too. So they just I don't know what they did this time, but they found two fantastic picks in the first and second round. So
yeah.
I'm really happy.
They're doing great.
Hmm.
Also, Marcus Smart is joining the Lakers after the Wizards buyout. So the Lakers are continuing to try to stay very relevant and get good players. Speaking of Lakers, LeBron James was in a video of Tyler the Operator. No, sorry, Tyler the Creator. It's called "Stop Playing with Me." I thought that was an interesting title of a song.
Yep.
And so, LeBron's clearly still interested in being relevant and also dabbling in other medium, and maybe he's starting to think about the rest of his career. So,
And his decision has to be made by August 12th. So he's
right.
kind of about 2 weeks left now to make a decision.
And that's part of why they're making moves, is to try and make it enticing to bring him back and to not have to dish him. In NCAA football, Jake Ratzlaff has settled his disagreement, and, or I should say, he was found not guilty in the rape allegation case, and it was dismissed on June 30th. And he is leaving BYU and transferring to Tulane. So
Interesting.
that'll be good for Tulane to have that high profile quarterback player. And hopefully the cloud doesn't follow him around. I'm hoping everybody here, there was innocence and that was correct, but I don't know enough about the case, but that's what happened. And so that's Tulane's gain there. So that's that. In tennis, Venus Williams played in a tournament in first time in over a year. She is 45 years old, and she has 21 Grand Slams. And she won in doubles in the first game she's played in a long time. So that was interesting. Venus Williams back on the court.
Very cool.
And that is it for the news.
Don't you love this picture of you, by the way, between two legends?
Yeah, I like the legends. They look great. I look silly as always. You always pick good ones. All right, mailbag. Here we go. Looking forward to episode 69 already. And that is from Dadovan.
Oh, great. Thanks,
That
Delvin.
was from our golf episode.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
So
thanks
they're
for that comment.
looking forward to our next episode.
Yep. That's coming up this Thursday, so look out for it, guys.
Yeah. Next one is golf's popularity worldwide is impressive, from Carlo Mandreza.
Thanks, Carla. Yeah, it really is. The growth. I couldn't believe when we did the research, Rob and I, that golf was still growing as fast as it is
Yeah.
globally.
I think they had a setback when Tiger kind of stepped back. He came
hmm
back in 2019 and gave a little juice back into golf.
hmm
And then all these young players have now a couple of years experience, and
hmm
they're really interesting to watch. They're
Yep.
crushing the ball. They have rivalries. Um, they're dynamic. You can kind of jump on with them now and follow their whole careers.
They're all very different. They're all very different
Yeah, they have
personalities.
different
And,
personalities. They're super hyper competitive.
and every
And
country has a guy like Sweden loves this guy
yeah,
Hovland. Hovland's always in contention from
yeah,
Sweden.
you can see this is going to play up into an extremely exciting Davis Cup.
I think so.
That's coming in the future.
hmm
Another round of excitement that
hmm
people get behind their countrymen.
Because there's a
Um,
lot of great players on both sides. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There's a full cupboard of players of talent, and it's pretty cool to see.
hmm
Next one, your editing skills just keep getting better, Thomas. I threw in the Thomas part. From Otaku Buxeater.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I try hard to learn how to edit better. I'm still learning, but it's getting better. So appreciate it.
Yeah, when we started this, we just were really all about just saying what we thought and speaking our mind and sort of researching and then coming together when we were doing our drives to work every day. And then when we became a podcast, you really took on that role. And I just wanted to tell you that it's being appreciated by our fans out there and our viewers, that your editing is improving and they're noticing it. So good job.
It's cool.
And we'll keep getting better by keeping at it,
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one. Great content as always. Keep it up at Hess a Mess. Hess a Mess.
Hey, thanks so much. We will. We're working hard at it, and we got a lot of cool stuff coming your way. So stay tuned.
Yep. And that was from our episode of where we did our Myrtle Beach and our weekend recap.
Yep,
So
North Myrtle Beach vibes, we called it.
yeah, they enjoyed that one. They thought that was good content. We kind of mixed a, a, a travel one with a weekend recap, so that was cool. Hopefully you enjoy that, and if you haven't gotten to watch it, go back and check it out. A couple fun shots in there. Next one. This video just made my day better at Mandy Alice. And that was also
Mandy,
from the Myrtle Beach one. So hopefully she's been to Myrtle Beach maybe.
Mandy, thanks so much. Hopefully, drop us another comment. Tell us, have you been to Myrtle? Do you like it? And we're glad we made your day better.
And hopefully she enjoyed the sports part of it too.
Yeah.
And that's our mailbag this week.
Awesome. Well, Robbie, another great week of sports heading into the meat of the baseball schedule. We have our NFL training camps episode coming up later this week. That's going to be really fun. We're going to break down all 32 teams and where they stand right now in their improvement and development. So, thoughts as we close out the weekend?
Just pretty cool storylines this week related to sports. Not all of them were direct, competitions. Obviously, the Open was really exciting, and some of the compelling stories coming out. I was really excited. I watched the All-Star game and Home Run Derby, so that was good stuff. And then there was kind of a smattering of everything: poker and Venus Williams is back, and just like a little bit of everything.
Caitlyn Clark. And,
Yeah,
you know,
WNBA is kind of doing a good thing and trying to make the league more viable by having more star power and getting paid better. And I understand that.
So, as sports fans, we're both very happy that we're seeing the resurgence of baseball coming back. There's no question about it. And we're also seeing golf coming back after the loss of Tiger, because it did
Yeah.
hurt them for a couple of years. There's no question.
Yep.
We're watching these two sports in the shadow of football, which is always going to be the Mac Daddy, and really the NBA's number two. But these
And
two
what I'm
sports
hoping,
are making a resurgence. There's no doubt.
you're absolutely right that those two have made a resurgence to back to a healthy level. And what I'd like to see is NASCAR get something positive like that going to head in the right direction too. They've been floundering for a few years now,
They need
and
stars.
it's a
They need
major
stars.
sport, and it's very exciting. If you ever go to a NASCAR race and you feel it in your chest, the rumble, and it's so amazing to watch the teamwork required to win.
You notice what's happening in baseball is they're getting their stars and they're marketing them well. And golf, they're getting their stars and they're marketing them well. NASCAR's got to do the same. They need the
I agree.
Jeff Gordons. They need Dale Earnhardt Juniors. They need
Yeah.
guys you can get behind or guys you can hate. And that's the way they're going to come back. Is they need big time stars. People know who they are.
Baseball did two things and golf did one thing. Golf put together a core nucleus of very great young players that all had that championship DNA. And now it's all playing out into this incredible stretch of competitive golf where there's rivalries and greatness. And then baseball changed rules because they were struggling and suffering. At the same time, a bunch of young, good players were coming up. So they were the beneficiary of better rules and speeding the game up and not listening.
Adding technology.
Yeah,
Better
not listening
hitters.
to all the naysayers and purists who were just saying no for the sake of no, but really analyzing what are the true weaknesses of our game and how do we make it better. They did a really good hard look in the mirror, and I think the NBA kind of needs to do that, but it's very exciting, and I think NASCAR needs to do it. I think NASCAR needs to have a resurgence where they get a young crop of drivers and kind of really push them and market them, and then get everybody interested in watching the events and then going to the events. And so that's just my take. I think I'd like to see NASCAR get that kind of resurgence.
Me
I
too.
think the NBA is on track with a little bit of a shift away from the three and more towards mid-range jumpers
Mhm.
and doing a good job. And then the NFL has been leading the way a long time with tweaking constantly, making changes, trying to get it right. They don't always get it right, but they're always tweaking to try to get it right. And so even
And
when they get it wrong,
the NBA also has of young stars, and that just really helps. It helps
yeah,
for marketing.
it does. It helps
Yeah.
a lot because you invest in a young player who has promise a lot more than an old player who's just
Mhm.
barely hanging on.
Yeah. I
And
mean, we looked at two of the real rising stars this year. You know, you had Shai Gilgeous Alexander, and then you had
yeah,
Halliburton. Those are two of the guys who are really rising. So,
exactly.
guys, thanks for tuning in, and please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys next time on the Sports Guys. Have a good one.
See you. Thanks for joining us.